My name is Ferdinand Pöllert. I'm currently here in beautiful Berlin. Unfortunately, you can't really see much of it yet, but maybe in a later video. It has been a while since I recorded the last video, but I was really pretty busy. I was writing a book about the hero's path, like really the essence of my previous video journal, of the journey around the world, and that took a lot of time. And at the same time, I was quite getting into alternative education, visiting a lot of interesting new school projects. And this is also the reason I want to talk with you today. Like a few days ago, I read in a magazine an interesting article. The topic was the WikiLeaks emails about the Democratic Party in the US. I know there has been a lot of talk about this, but there was one interesting little conversation which really touches on the subject of learning, of self-empowerment. And one guy, Bill Ivey, he wrote to John Podesta, the campaign manager of Hillary Clinton. He wrote and he said he's kind of disappointed because now for decades the elites pretty much try to dump down the population, through the education system, to make the majority of the people more stupid. That's pretty much his wording. And then he said, now it seems it doesn't work out anymore because the population is not behaving, is not voting anymore in the way the elites are expecting. So when I read this, I was really, really surprised about the attitude this guy shows towards the common people. And then I went to another presentation of a quite famous professor here in Germany, Professor Rainer Mausfeld. He's a behavioral scientist, and he's good. And like his topic was the relationship between a ruling class and the population in the country. And he approached it from the historical perspective. And he said, yeah, you always have a ruling class and you always have a population. And by the nature of this, the ruling class always tries to stay in power, and the population tries to decide their own fate or the fate of the country. And often this staying in power and this independent way searching collide. And when this collides, then something like the French Revolution happens. If the people in power take too much advantage of the population gets annoyed, and at the end there is a revolution. This was the situation which we had till the 18th, 19th century. It was very dangerous for the people in power, because if a revolution happens, you never know how it's going to end, and like Louis XVI, it can end very badly for you. So the elite thought about how to protect themselves and how to keep themselves in power. And then they came up with an idea which they called representative democracy, which didn't exist before. Like in old Greece, it was always a direct democracy. You would vote either directly on a subject, or you would vote for somebody and he had to vote in the way you told him to. But then when the United States were founded, the elites in the United States, they were afraid of the population, or didn't like the common people too much, so they thought about a system which would make them more independent from the people. So they created this representative democracy, which we also have here in Germany and in most parts of Europe and the Americas. And this works the way that you vote for somebody who goes to parliament, but this person is completely independent of the voter. He can decide whatever he wants, which makes him more accountable to the heads of his party, because if he doesn't behave the way they want, then he won't be put on the list for the party anymore. So this is for the ruling class, this is the one advantage of the representative democracy. The other advantage is that you create different parties. Let's say you're on the top, but you want to stay a little bit in the back, like Deng Xiaoping in China in the 90s. So you create two parties. You kind of control those two parties, or at least the leading people in these parties. And then the people, let's say, vote for Party A, and Party A stays in power for 4 years, or 5 years, wherever you are, and does exactly what the ruling class wants. The population gets annoyed and upset about this Party A. At the next election, they will vote for Party B. And then Party B will do what the ruling class tells them for the next 4 or 5 years. And the population can vote for A again, B, A, B, A, B, and nothing ever changes. I think you get the picture. So this is his argument. He said, okay, this is why the ruling classes in the different countries, for the most part, they decided to go to a representative democracy. And it's also much cheaper than to build up a dictatorship with a military government and police state and whatever. And the other thing, what the ruling class needed to do is, according to this professor, they needed to get a justification why they are in power. Because, I mean, if you look at each other, we all pretty much look the same, and especially when we arrive at this world and when we leave. So from the outside and actually from the inside, there is no real difference. But okay, how to justify that one person is a ruler and the other is a subject? So the ruling classes, they got a lot of smart people, a lot of philosophers and scientists and whatever, and they found a solution. They said, okay, we should be in power because we are smart, we think long term, we really care about other people. But the common people, they are stupid, they are short-sighted, they are violent. So they created this framework of ideas which you can find in most movies, books, no matter if it's scientific books or novels. You always have a smart, noble, wise elite, and you have a stupid population which just goes out there and burns witches. That's pretty much the picture they induced into us to justify their place in society. So those two things, they really, how to say, they really woke me up, at least in this area. Like this email by this Bill Ivy and this lecture by this professor, because it really touches the subject of self-empowerment. I've been talking and researching and living for the last 30 years. Because how our ruling class is treating us, no matter the media, the politics, the big businesses, it's really something I dislike. Because I believe we are all special. We are all in this world for at least one particular reason. There's one thing which only you and only you can contribute to this world, and nobody else. So I think the main aim of all of us must be to support each other, to be the best self or the best person, the best version of us we can be, and to bring our skills, our unique skills, to the full potential. This should be the aim of every single person in a society, of the education system, and of politics. And the approach of our elite is completely the other way around. And the key to this mess, or one of the keys to this mess, in my opinion, is the education system. Because we all have to go through it, through We go to school till we're 18, 21, if you go to university, even 28, and we are conditioned there. Because there it happens, what I told you before, that this idea is the population is bad, the elite is wise, the economy, economic growth is necessary, never-ending economic growth is necessary. We, the West, we have to dominate the world because we are wiser than the people in Africa. All these ideas, of course not so obviously, but underground, they are given to us there. And even the most basic setup, if you think about in school, in the universities, is there is one person in front of you, and then there is the mass of people facing him or her, and this one person is telling us what to do. This one person is wiser than all of us, and we just need to listen what other people tell us. Only this conditioning is already decisive, because it puts you in the place where it says you are just a piece in the machinery and you have to function. And there's always somebody above you who tells you what to do. This setup, it creates a very, very deep pattern. And to change it in your life is unbelievably hard. For those of you who did the hero's path, the previous videos, and took it like as a training plan, maybe you have managed, but then you know for sure it's very hard. And then the question should be, why should we go through this conditioning and then work for a long time to get out of it? Isn't there a way to at least spare our children or other people to go the same hard way than we did? I mean, life is full of changes. There are still challenges. There are still more than enough hard ways that everyone has to go. So we need to change this kind of education and this kind of education system. And yeah, it might look hard, but it really isn't. There are already so many new approaches, new or alternatives to the common education system. We have to search for them, then we'll find them, and then we have to give them power to grow and to expand. Like in the school field, you have since 100 years, you have the Montessori schools and you have the Waldorf schools, which take this approach of like student-centered and student-driven learning. Because just think back, like when you arrive here in this life, like all of us, we have this strong inner urge, we have this drive, we want to learn. My God, we have this beautiful world around us, so we want to learn everything about it. We want to learn how to walk, we want to learn how to speak. At the end, we want to learn how to build a rocket engine. We want it. Nobody needs to be there and tell us, okay, now you have to do this and now you have to do this. We don't need it. But then in school, it gets destroyed. This feeling gets really destroyed in most common schools. And this is not even the teacher's fault. I would say 99% of the teachers, they're really there with their best intentions. They want to give the best to the students, but they cannot because they are in the structure which prevents it to the most part. So yes, there are the Steiner and the Montessori schools which have managed to improve the situation at least for a few children, but there are amazing new projects. Like in Russia, there is a great school. There is the Chetinine school. The Chetinine school, there the children, they can learn the content, the curriculum of the government schools, the whole curriculum of the government school within 1 year. And not through hardcore drill, just through motivation. And they don't spend much time in classrooms or whatever. They combine the learning experience also with practical skills. They build their whole school, they build the whole school interior, they decorate the walls, everything by themselves. And combining this practical work with all the theory they learn much faster. Plus they combine it, of course, with sports and keep their body healthy and all this kind of stuff. Because the two keys to natural and to fast learning, one is practicability. It has to be practical. You have to be able to use it in your daily life, or you have to have an idea for what you want to use it. And the second one, the most important one, is the motivation. Motivation is the key. You want to learn something, you can learn it, no matter what. I mean, I learned Chinese, and a lot of people told me, or they always ask me, say, "Oh, wasn't it crazy hard to learn Chinese?" And I can only tell them, I say, no, it was not very easy, but it was quite easy because I wanted to learn it. It was much easier for me than to learn French back in school. So this is the key: motivation and usability. And as I said, Waldorf, Montessori, the Schettinin school in Russia, which is only one school, but there's been now a drive, like a movement to bring the ideas of this Schettinin school also to Germany, or let's say to the West. And like in Austria, at the same time, they also developed a very amazing system called the LAIS system, L-A-I-S, which works on similar principles. Like the students learn what they want. It's combined with a lot of practical skills, a lot of time outside, a lot of sports, and the progress is amazing. Not only do the students develop really independent, strong personalities, but they also learn all the knowledge of our modern world. And now to close the circle here, when we have a good inner moral system, a good system of values, a good system of skills, then no manipulation from the outside can get us off course. It's what we did in the videos of the hero's path. Once you have this inner compass which shows you the direction, nothing can get you off course. You just follow it. So when we give this to our children or to the younger people right from the beginning, no storm, no lightning, no fight whatsoever can get them off course. And this is the amazing thing, and this is why I think it's really worth to get more into this alternative learning ideas and to empower them to grow stronger and stronger. And so step by step we create a better society. That's what I wanted to share with you today, and soon I'm going to make some more videos where I'm going to explain more about the LAIS system and the Schettinin school and some other ideas, and maybe you can also get some inspiration from this. Alright, as always, I wish you all the best on your hero's path. I wish you danger so that you can grow. I wish you strength so you can go on, and I wish you fun and a great time in this really beautiful and amazing life. See you.